Today we're going to be taking a look at, as you can see on here, Lesson 2 for Module 2. And we are starting by looking at rounding again. So in the last module, remember if you had a decimal and you were rounding to the nearest tenths place, you would take a look at the number to the right of it. So for example, on this one right here, if we actually had a decimal between the 6 and the 9 would be in the tenths place. So we would look to the right of it and see if the number to the right of it was at the midpoint or higher. And if that was true, then the tenths place would move up 1. In this case, if the tenths place moved up 1, it would become a 10. And it would actually make this become 7. And then that would be it. If we started out with 6 and 97 hundredths, that's how that one would round. However, what we're looking at this time is there are no partial numbers. These are whole numbers. And so when we take a look at this, we happen to have here 697. So I'm going to grab my pencil and let's round this. 697. Wow. 600. We look to the right of it, there's a 9. So we're just going to call it 700 in that case. Now 82, look to the right of the 8. You happen to see just a 2. That's not at the midpoint or higher. So that's just going to be 80. And now if we take a look, we go 7 times 8. We know that that is 56 total. And then how many zeros are we working with? 1, 2, 3 of them. So those just come on over. 1, 2, 3. So we end up with 56,000. So a reasonable estimate for 697 times 82 is 56,000 as an estimate. Now let's take a look at C. We'll go a little bit harder here. So we take a look at 8,800. We look to the right of the big one. We see it's an 8, so we know that it's going to round up because it's past the midpoint. So it becomes a 9,000. 8,800 is about 9,000. Now if we have 45, we know that's about 50 because you look at the number to the right and it's at the midpoint. 9 times 5 is 45. My pen will work. There we go, 45, and we happen to have 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. We make our comma right there. So the estimate, reasonable estimate for this happens to be 450,000. Our reasonable estimate for that. Now when we take a look at this one, it says complete the table using your understanding of the place value and knowledge of rounding to the estimate product. So if we take a look at the first one they've done here, they rounded down, so it became 3,000. So everything to the right of the 3 became zeros. The 3 didn't go up because the number to the right of it was less than the midpoint of 5. 73 is about 70. So then they go 3 times 7, gets you 21. They counted how many zeros. That's how they ended up with this. So I'm going to go ahead and just go straight to C. We know that 9 right here has an 8 next to it. That's higher than the midpoint. That's going to go from being a 9 to a 10 then. I'm going to have to go back and fix my comma because it looks too much like a decimal. Now we're going to say that times 39, may as well be 40, right? 1 times 4 is 4. Now we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros in action. 400,000 is what your estimate is in that case. Let's go ahead and go on to E. That one's even harder. 893 hundredths. So if you have, that's going to be 900 hundredths. So let's put in our hundredths in this case. 900 hundredths is 90,000. And we're going to multiply by 84 or 85. That's going to become a 90, isn't it? 95, or 90 in this case, 90 tens. There's a 0 to represent your tens. 9 times 9 is 81. And now how many zeros? I'm counting 4 in the first number, 2 more, that gets us 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So our estimate in that case is actually going to be 81 million. In this case, 81 million. So I'm checking to make sure I got that one right. So that one's question 2E, and we did, we got it right. So we're thinking about 900 hundreds. So that's how you end up with 90,000. This one's right here kind of complicated. It says the estimated answer to a multiplication problem. So the estimated answer, so when you think about the answer to it is 800,000. So which of these following expressions could get you that answer? So you're looking at them. This is going to become, it is about 8,000, right? 8,000. And then if you're saying a times about 10, right? We know that 1 times 8 is 8. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. And does that match? This has 5 zeros. So this one, nope. This one right here is going to be about 80,000. So it's going to have 1 more zero. This is going to be about 100. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So that's probably not going to be right either, is it? So now let's take a look at this one. We know that this is going to become 800, or 8,000, sorry, misspeak. 8,146 is about 8,000. We know that 121 is about 100. So this one right here was 1 zero shorter. It had 1 place value missing. This has that place value. And so this one was 1 zero short. This one is probably going to get us there. So you go 8,000 times 100. We're moving around here. Let's get this squared away again. Times 100. And we know that's going to be 8, because 1 times 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking for 800,000. That happens to be 800,000, so we're going to circle it. This one right here, we've got about 80,000. That's bigger. That's this size, right? And then this one going to have 3 more zeros. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. That's way more than 5 zeros. So that's a no-go. Now if we take a look down here. In a single season, the New York Yankees sell an average of 42,362 tickets for each of their 81 home games. 42,000, that's about 40,000, isn't it? And then they have 81 home games. That's about 80 home games, isn't it? Just about. Now we go 4 times 8. I know 2 times 8 is 16. Now I'm going to double that, because I take the 2. If I went 2 times 8 and I double the 2, that gets us the 4. So if 2 times 8 gets us 16, I'm going to go 16 plus 16. 10 plus 10 gets us 20. 6 plus 6 gets us 12. So we go up to 30, and then we've got that extra 2 left over. So 32, and then we throw in 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Put our commas in. Wow. That's 3,200,000 tickets the entire season for home games. All right. So now we're going to take a look at what problems I'm going to ask you to do tonight, now that you're thinking about this whole rounding and estimating process. Your problems are right here. I'm going to ask you to pick just 3 of them. Pick 3 of them. Come with your answers tomorrow. Share them in class. Have a great night.